Welcome, everybody, and welcome Maya Linkonoska. She'll introduce herself in a minute. My name is Katarina Hanssens Carlsson, and I'm the founder of Global Leadership Schools and Teachers Hero.world and Destiny International. But today we're going to be talking about schools. So Maya, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you very much. It is such a pleasure to be connected with you and to be here with you today. So my name is Maya, and I regard myself as a citizen of the world. I was born in Macedonia, and when I was 12 years old, my parents immigrated to New Zealand. So I got to experience my primary education in Macedonia, and then my high school and university, part of my university in New Zealand. I then lived in Australia, and I studied masters in London, in England. Currently, I'm living in Dubai, and my professional background is actually in law. I specialize in maritime law. I have a master's in maritime law. However, my true passion has always been education. And so I am a coach, a life coach, and I'm also a mediator and an artist. So I like to call myself a global citizen of the world who is living life holistically. I would kind of sum it up like that.
Exactly. And your mission is peace. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Peace.
That's right.
And
Yes.
my take on that is that when we have a world of fulfilled people, not just happy people, fulfilled people, we will not be at war. We will not be at war. We will be focused on what fulfills us most and how we can serve others. So let's start off. So this is all about education, global education. And I'd like to ask you, Maya, in a moment. I'd like to ask myself, what is working in education? And I would like to say is children turn up to school. Many of them don't, but the ones that do. And many of them love to be with their friends. And some children actually love learning. Whether the school system works for them or not, they love learning. So what would you say, Maya, works in schools today?
Well, it was a long time since I was personally at school, and I will share a little bit about what I think from my personal experience, and then I will share about what I have heard from children today. Um, for me, like I'm definitely the person who loves learning, and for me, the primary motivation was knowledge, but not just knowledge, but also for me was recognition. I strived to be number one at school, and I was top of my class in pretty much all my classes. So for me, a lot of it also was about the knowledge, the learning, but also the acknowledgement and the recognition.
Very good.
That's something I really valued in my own experience. And now I see my sister's children who are in New Zealand, who are at school. They are 12 and 14. And I recently spoke with them. My niece is starting high school. And so I asked her, what do you think about school? Do you like going there? She said, no, I just like being with my friends.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that is the answer of the children that I'm hearing now, that they go to school because they like to socialize, they like to be with their friends, but nobody is really showing much interest in the learning and the education itself, which is what got me to think about this topic, because I can see I was not struggling myself as a student. Myself as a student, I mean, I loved school. And that's why I like to be involved in the education, because for me, going to school was a really great experience. But now I see my sister's children are struggling. And that's what prompted me to look into this, because I thought I don't want to see this for my niece and my nephew, let alone my own children from the future. that I will have in
I
the
think
future.
that they're struggling with? What's the main problem for them?
From what I'm hearing is that it is not interesting, and
Yeah.
also they don't find it relevant in their
Yes,
world today.
very good. So you
Yeah.
felt acknowledged at school, but what you're seeing today is that children don't feel that it's child-centered. It's nothing to do with them. It's not relevant and it's not very interesting. And I
Mm.
absolutely agree with you. I think what's missing is child-centered education. Many schools say they do that. Many schools say they
Mm.
prepare children for the future. They don't.
Mm.
Basically, very few schools do. There are entrepreneurial schools that actually do. However, um, I think that a child enters the classroom, the teacher enters the classroom, and it's mostly sit down, listen to me. I'm going to give you information, whether you like it or not, and there's going to be a test and there's going to be an exam. And it's not about the individual
Mm.
child's potential, and it should be. Now,
Yeah.
a lot of teachers would tell me, Katarina, we don't have time for that. We're so busy doing assessments for in Sweden, they're doing assessments for the authorities, Skolverket, because the standard of education has gone down globally, except for Finland and probably France.
Mm.
So why is that? Because children are not engaged. And why should they be engaged in subjects
Mm.
that they're not even interested in? But
Mm.
okay, so what is the solution then? Why don't we do individual, and not only individual would take a long time, and that was for more students, for students of a higher level, year 8, year 9, when they're 17 and 18. But why don't children, for example, up to the age of 6, learn 3 languages? Because they're linguistic geniuses up to the age of 6. They're also
Mm.
operating at 98% creative intelligence. So I would say at 7 years old, when their creative genius is at its height, we need to find their potential. And if you ask a 7-year-old, what would you like to do with your life? Who would you like to be? I've heard children say, I'd like to be an astronaut and a doctor and learn sign language, for example. Children have this attitude at 6 and 7, that I can do anything. And
Mm.
that's what we need to encourage. Okay, maybe
Yes.
they'll go overboard, but if they want to be an astronaut, let's teach them physics at a very young age. Let's put them in different classes, interest classes, potential classes. So how is this done? You can take a whole class and find out, what is your identity in school? Who are you? Who do you say you
Mm-hmm.
are? Not who your teacher says you are, not what
Yeah.
your parents say you are, but who do you say you are? Who are you at your very best in an I am statement? I've done this with children and they love it,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's all about their favorite subject. It's themselves. Okay,
Yes.
who are you, first of all? What is your favorite subject? What do you do in your spare time? What do you love to do?
Mm.
Also, what's your sabotage strategy? What are your dragons? We all have dragons. As children love to
Yeah.
talk about that. Oh, my dragons are that I'm a bit lazy, or I really don't like school and I haven't found what I like yet. Those are your dragons, and you can find what you like, because just watch yourself and ask your parents to watch you. What do you do in your
Mm.
spare time? Because what you do
Mm.
in your spare time is the key to your potential. So
Yeah.
imagine that every school has a record of every single individual student, and they also do self-assessment, because that's a huge problem in Sweden anyway, that authorities are asking children to do, teachers to do assessments on every single child. It takes forever the teachers are stressed out. 300,000 teachers left their jobs between 20 and 2022. 300,000. So teachers are fed up. So we can train the teachers, we can retrain the principals, we can retrain the teachers to think in an entrepreneurial way, to look for each child's potential and nurture that from the age of 7 to 18, so that by the time they're 18, they leave school with an entrepreneurial business or with a career direction. They know where they're going. So those are my solutions. Have you?
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. These are such great ideas, and I really love what you are doing. I was just thinking, you know, as you were speaking, you took me on a journey of my childhood, and I was imagining myself as a child and exactly what I was doing in my spare time, and then I was comparing what I was doing when I was 7 and how I felt when I was 7 to what am I doing now. And it's only in the last few years that I have looked back into my childhood to kind of get the answers to, am I fulfilled? What did I love doing as a child that I'm not doing now because of the journey I had to work full time and to have this responsible life? And I was missing a little bit of fun, you know, as an adult.
Yes.
I found myself, I was in my career, which I love very much. I love my career to date, but I realized I was missing fun.
Good. And so what were you doing when you were 7 years old? We're curious.
Yes. Well, I was dancing.
Wow.
I loved music. I was singing. I was dancing. I was doing drama and theater. And I was spending a lot of time with my animals because we had pet rabbits. And I remember when I came home from school, the first thing I would do is go to the garden and play with my rabbits. And also, I love the fact we had a garden that we grew our own fruits and vegetables. So I would feed the rabbits, I would feed myself, I would eat strawberry from the ground, I would eat raspberries and cherries and all these fruits we had back in Macedonia. We were growing all the food ourselves. And this is something that I really would love for my children. I don't have children yet, for my children to experience in their childhood as well. And I remember still one thing I really enjoyed, actually two things I really enjoyed at school. One was planting trees. I remember we were planting trees and we used to go for picnics out in nature because I went to a school in a very, very small town. And we used to go and spend time in nature doing picnics and connecting with the plants and learning about the plants. And another thing is we would go to the mountain where there was the clay and we would actually get clay. Then we would go home, mix the clay with water, and then make different things with this clay. That was one of my favorite things. I still remember now.
What a wonderful childhood you've had, really full of creativity, activity with animals, singing, dancing, drama. So are you going to bring these things into your life now, Maya?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I am doing a lot more of these things now in my spare time. And something I want to introduce in the future in my retreats, because I'm very passionate about holding retreats for children and for adults. This is kind of one of my long-term goals. But I'm always looking back in my childhood. What did I enjoy in my childhood? And what is it I want to bring forward for the future generation?
Fantastic. And I would like to ask the viewers, what did you do in your childhood? And what would you like to put into your life now to have more fun? Also, my childhood, I used to teach my dolls maths. So I did trainings for my dolls and created homes, which I do. I love
Yeah.
home creation. And I used to roller skate. Today I rollerblade. All winter in Sweden, I skate. It's long distance skating. I skate about between 5 and 10 kilometers per week, and I love skating. So I've brought my childhood into my adulthood, and I
Mhm.
ask you to do that too. So,
Yeah.
how do you reach us? I'm on LinkedIn at Katarina Hanssens Carlsson, as my name here. And Maya, how do we reach you?
Yes, so I am also on LinkedIn, Maya Linkinoska, and I have also I have published 2 books, about to publish my 3rd book. My first book is called Unveiling the Path to Happiness, and the second book is Free Your Mind, Listen with Your Heart. You can Google my name, Maya Linkinoska, and I think those books will probably show up. They're available on Amazon.
Fantastic. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Maya. It's been a pleasure. And I'd like all the viewers to remember life is supposed to be fun, not just fun. We need to achieve and be fulfilled and serve others. But let's bring fun into schools. Let's bring fun into our lives. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you, Katarina.